Let me talk to you for a moment, because some of you are still confused about why life hit you the way it did. You're replaying the pain over and over in your head, asking yourself what you did wrong, wondering why it had to be you. And I need you to hear this clearly. What you went through was not a punishment. It wasn't life singling you out. It wasn't God, fate, or the universe trying to break you. It was preparation. And if you don't understand that, you'll keep treating your pain like a curse instead of the training ground it really is. See, comfort never built anybody strong, easy never created discipline, peace never taught survival. It's the pressure that shapes you. It's the struggle that teaches you how to breathe when everything feels like it's closing in. Those nights when you cried alone, when nobody checked on you, when you had to figure it out without a safety net. Those moments were building something inside you. You just couldn't see it at the time. Pain doesn't announce its purpose when it shows up. It just shows up and demands that you either grow or give up. And most people misinterpret that moment. They think, I must not be good enough. They think, maybe I'm not meant for more. But the truth is, if you weren't built for something greater, the challenge would have destroyed you already. The fact that you're still standing, still dreaming, still hungry tells me everything I need to know. You weren't targeted because you're weak. You were challenged because you're capable of carrying more weight than the average person. Pain introduces you to a version of yourself you never meet in comfort. When everything is going well, you don't learn how deep your discipline goes. When money is flowing and people are clapping, you don't discover how strong your faith really is. But when life strips you down, when the support disappears, when the plan falls apart, when the future looks uncertain, that's when your real character shows up. That's when you learn how to stand without applause. That's when you learn how to move forward without motivation. Every closed door taught you resilience. Every delay taught you patience. Every loss taught you appreciation. And every time you had to start over, it taught you that you're more resourceful than you ever gave yourself credit for. The pain didn't come to stop you. It came to upgrade you. It toughened your mindset, sharpened your instincts, and forced you to develop skills you'll need at the next level of your life. But here's the shift you have to make. You can't keep asking, why is this happening to me? That question keeps you stuck. You've got to start asking, what is this preparing me for? Because the moment you change the question, you change the meaning of the pain. And when the meaning changes, the pain stops controlling you. It becomes information. It becomes fuel. It becomes direction. Some of you are walking into rooms now with a different kind of confidence, and you don't even realize where it came from. It came from surviving things that should have broken you. It came from carrying responsibilities you weren't ready for, but handled anyway. It came from learning how to trust yourself when nobody else did. That strength didn't fall out of the sky. It was built in the dark, and one day you're going to look back and realize that the struggle didn't slow you down. It accelerated you. It cut away what you didn't need. It prepared your heart, your mind, and your spirit for opportunities you weren't ready for back then. What felt like a setback was really a setup. What felt like loss was really alignment. What felt like pain was really preparation. So stop apologizing for your scars. Stop wishing it had been easier. You needed that pressure. You needed that resistance. You needed that season to become who you are now. Because the pain didn't come to break you, it came to build you. Let me be real with you for a moment, because this is where most people lose the fight. It's not the pain itself that defeats them. It's how they respond to it. When struggle shows up, the natural instinct is to run, to hide, to numb it, to distract yourself until it goes away. But pain doesn't disappear just because you avoid it. It waits, and the longer you run, the heavier it gets. Winners don't waste energy escaping the struggle. They step into it and squeeze every lesson out of it. See, struggle is a teacher, a strict one, a demanding one, but a fair one. Every time you failed, it was trying to teach you something. Every rejection, every loss, every disappointment came with instructions, but instead of studying the lesson, most people take it personally. They let the struggle convince them they're not enough. They let it steal their confidence, and that's where the mistake happens. The struggle wasn't sent to define you. It was sent to refine you. You don't grow by pretending everything is fine. You grow by facing what's wrong and asking yourself, what can I learn from this? Failure is not a verdict, it's feedback. Pain is not an enemy, it's information. When something doesn't work, life is showing you what needs to change, what needs to strengthen, what needs to mature. But you only get that clarity when you stop running and start paying attention. Think about it. Every time life knocked you down, you learned how to get back up faster. Every time you were disappointed, you learned how to manage your expectations. Every time you were left alone, you learned how to rely on yourself. The struggle was building mental toughness in you without asking for permission. It was training you to function under pressure, to think clearly in chaos, to keep moving even when motivation was nowhere to be found. Most people only know how to work when they feel good. The struggle teaches you how to work when you don't. It teaches you discipline, and discipline is what carries you when passion runs out. Anybody can move when they're excited. Anybody can show up when the results are immediate. But it takes a different level of strength to stay consistent when progress is slow and nobody is watching. That strength comes from struggle. And let me tell you something else. Every setback came with a skill. You didn't just survive, you adapted. You learned how to adjust. You learned how to think differently. You learned how to read people, situations, and opportunities with sharper awareness. That's not accidental. That's growth, that's evolution. That's the struggle turning you into someone who can handle more responsibility, more pressure, more success. The problem is, if you keep numbing the pain, you miss the lesson. If you keep blaming others, you miss the growth. If you keep pretending it didn't hurt, you miss the strength that comes from owning it. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be honest. Honest about where you fell short. Honest about what needs to change. Honest about the work you've been avoiding. That honesty is where power lies. When you use the struggle, it stops scaring you. You stop seeing obstacles as threats and start seeing them as tests. Tests of patience, tests of focus, tests of how bad you really want what you say you want. And every test you pass builds confidence that no applause can give you. Because now you know. You can survive discomfort. You can endure pressure. You can keep going even when the road gets ugly. One day, you'll realize the struggle didn't just toughen you up. It taught you how to win without excuses. It trained your mind to stay steady when everything else is shaking. And that's when you understand the truth. You were never meant to escape the struggle. You were meant to use it. Let me tell you something most people don't realize until it's almost too late. The very thing you're trying to hide, the very chapter you don't like talking about, the very experience you wish you could erase, that's where your voice was born. Your pain didn't just hurt you. It shaped how you see the world. And when you understand that, everything changes. See, people don't connect to titles, trophies, or perfect stories. They connect to truth. They connect to someone who's been in the mud and found a way to stand up anyway. That's why your pain matters. That's why what you went through matters. Not because it was easy, not because it was fair, but because you survived it. And survival gives you credibility no classroom can teach. For a long time, you thought your struggle disqualified you. You thought it made you weak. You thought it made you less than. So you stayed quiet. You downplayed it. You tried to blend in, to sound polished, to look put together. But the moment you do that, you mute the very thing that makes you powerful. Because your pain gave you perspective, it gave you empathy, it gave you depth, and depth is what people feel. When you speak from your wounds, not in bitterness, not in anger, but in truth, you give others permission to breathe. You let them know they're not crazy for feeling what they feel. You let them know they're not alone in their fight. And sometimes that's all someone needs to keep going, not advice, not motivation. Just the reminder that someone else has been there and made it through. Your scars are not a sign of weakness. They're proof of endurance. They're evidence that life tried you and you're still here. And when you stop being ashamed of your scars and start owning them, something powerful happens. Your story stops being a burden and starts becoming a bridge. A bridge between pain and hope. A bridge between struggle and possibility. Think about it. The people who have impacted you the most weren't the ones who pretended life was perfect. They were the ones who spoke honestly about the nights they almost quit, the times they doubted themselves, the moments they didn't think they'd make it. That honesty hit you because it was real, and now, whether you realize it or not, you carry that same kind of power. But here's the challenge. Using your voice requires courage. It means you stop hiding behind strength and start showing resilience. It means you accept that what hurt you didn't ruin you. It refined you, and when you embrace that truth, your pain no longer controls you. You control it. You decide how it's used. You decide what it means. Your pain gives weight to your words. When you talk about discipline, it's different because you've had to fight for it. When you talk about faith, it's deeper because you've questioned it. When you talk about growth, it's real because you've fallen. You don't speak from theory, you speak from experience. And experience has a sound that people trust. There are people listening to you right now who don't need another perfect example. They need a living one, someone who struggled, stumbled, doubted, and kept moving anyway. Someone who didn't quit when it got uncomfortable. Someone who learned how to stand even when they were shaking. That someone is you, so don't shrink your story. Don't silence your voice. Don't pretend the pain didn't happen. It happened and it shaped you, and now it can serve a purpose bigger than you ever imagined. Your pain didn't just shape your story. It gave you a voice strong enough to change someone else's life. Now let me take you to the final shift, because this is where everything you've been through either becomes fuel or becomes poison. Pain by itself doesn't make you powerful. Time doesn't heal it. Talking about it doesn't automatically fix it. Pain only transforms when you attach it to action. If you don't move, if you don't change behavior, if you don't discipline yourself, pain doesn't turn into strength. It turns into bitterness. And bitterness will keep you stuck in the same place while life keeps moving forward. You've got to make a decision. Either your hurt is going to break your spirit, or it's going to build your work ethic. Either it's going to make you angry at the world, or it's going to make you relentless about your future. Because the energy is already there, the frustration, the disappointment, the hunger. The question is not whether you feel it. The question is what you do with it. Some of you have memories that still burn, moments where you were overlooked, betrayed, underestimated, counted out. Don't waste that fire trying to get even. Don't waste it trying to prove people wrong with words. Use it. Put it into your mornings. Put it into your habits. Put it into your preparation when nobody is watching. Channel it into consistency, because consistency is the language of results. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Motivation comes and goes. Feelings are unreliable, but discipline, that's what carries you when everything else shuts down. Discipline is choosing to show up when you're tired. Discipline is doing the work when the excitement is gone. Discipline is staying committed when the progress feels invisible. And pain, when used correctly, builds discipline faster than comfort ever could. Every time you feel like quitting, that's your cue to lean in, not back. Every time it hurts, that's your reminder that you're stretching beyond who you used to be. Growth doesn't feel good while it's happening. Strength doesn't feel strong while it's being built. It feels heavy, it feels uncomfortable, it feels lonely, but that's the cost of becoming someone different. You don't need revenge. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. What you need is progress. Small wins, daily improvements, quiet consistency. When you focus on getting better instead of getting even, something powerful happens. You stop looking back. You stop explaining yourself. You stop waiting for permission. You start building. Turn your pain into structure. Let it set your schedule. Let it decide your standards. Let it raise the bar for how you operate. When you remember what it felt like to struggle, you stop playing with your time. You stop tolerating excuses from yourself or anyone else. You move with intention because you know what it costs to start over. And one day, without making noise, without announcing it to the world, you'll wake up in a different place. Stronger mindset, sharper focus, calmer confidence, not because life got easier, but because you got better. The pain didn't disappear, you mastered it. You learned how to turn pressure into performance. Success isn't luck. It's not talent alone. It's pain properly directed, repeated daily through disciplined action. And when you finally understand that, you stop fearing hard seasons. You stop running from discomfort. You stop asking for easier paths, because now you know nothing you went through was wasted. And that's when your pain becomes your power.